In uWin, we're going to add the Get Ready and Game Over layouts. We're finally going to have multiple screens in our game. Make sure you have the step-by-step project guide available. We're going to create 2 new layouts with their event sheets and the object types they need. We're also going to create the variables that are needed to make moving from layout to layout easier. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to layouts. We currently only have this one level, level 1. We need to create a layout for our game over. So go over to layouts, right click, and add layout. We're going to name it game over. Make sure you choose the add event sheet option. Game over. Make sure you rename the event sheet that goes with game over to game over event sheet. If you click on the game over layout and look at its properties, you'll see that it's associated with the game over event sheet. That's what we want. Now we need to set some of the properties. We're going to have a very particular layout size. We want a layout that's 1920 pixels wide, 1080 tall. And we're going to keep that same 500 pixel margin. Just like our level 1, our game over layout consists of layers. You start with layer 0. Let's rename that to background with uppercase B. Make sure that's unlocked and active. We're going to have a big image that we put on the background that says game over. So we need to create a new object type. Right click, insert new object. It's going to be a sprite and its name is going to be uWin. Because if the person playing your game gets to the screen, then they've beat all the levels. Insert, when the crosshair appears, make sure it's going on the background layer. Click on the folder. You need to find the uWin graphic. It's 1920 by 1080. We're going to create an origin point that's at the exact middle, 960, 540. There's a lot of ways to do that. You can right click on the origin too, and there's these quick assign options. Just keep that in mind. Red X to close. Now we want to position this so it fits perfectly on our window. Right click, align, window, center horizontally. Right click, align, window, center vertically. Perfect. That's all we're going to have on our background layer. So we're going to go back and we're going to lock it. Then we're going to create a new layer using the plus. Rename it to content with a capital C. On our content layer, we're going to have a scoreboard. Just like level 1 has a scoreboard, we're going to use the exact same object type, but then we're going to set its properties to make it just somewhat different. Drag a scoreboard onto the content layer and let's set its properties. Let's position it using the properties bar. X 1090, Y 610. Let's make it bigger than the standard scoreboard. 800 pixels wide, 300 tall. And we're going to make the font much, much bigger. Scroll down and under font, hit the ellipse and you're going to type in 144, double the normal size. We're going to horizontally align it to the left. And that should do it. Now we're going to deal with the event sheet that goes with our new layout, the game over event sheet. Let's open it up. We're going to include the start and end level event sheet so we get the benefit of all those events we've already written. Press OK. We're going to add a group that contains all of our game over events. There won't be many. Right click, add group. Call it game over, capital G, capital O. And for description, events and triggers that occur on game over layout only. When someone gets to the game over screen, it's going to say, press anything to play again. We need to create an event that makes that happen. Click add event and first choose the keyboard. on any key pressed. Let's make this event block an OR block. Right click on it, make OR. Let's add another condition. Go to the mouse. On any click. So, if you use the keyboard or the mouse, when you get to the screen, it's going to start the game all over again. Let's add the actions that do that. Go to System, Set Value. First, we're going to reset the score to 0. Done. Now we're going to send you back to level 1 to start the game. Go to System, choose Go to Layout by Name, and in double quotes, choose the first level of our game, level space 1, within double quotes. Done. Drag the event block within the event group. Let's go ahead and lock our content layer. In order to move from layout to layout to create more than one level in our game, we're going to need some code. In the start and end level event sheet, I like to put a global variable in there called next layout. So go to start and end level event sheet and add global variable. Let's call it next layout, capital N, capital L, no spaces. This is going to be text. Initially, it's going to be completely blank. And for a description, game layout to go to next. We're going to store in a variable what's the next layout to go to. Let me show you how this is going to work. Go down to the player on collision with exit event and click add action. Go to System and go to layout by name. From now on, we're going to go to the layout that's defined in our next layout variable. Get rid of the restart layout, the third action in that event, right click, delete. From now on, the value of the next layout variable will tell us where to go when the player completes a level. We've got one more action we need to add. Click Add Action and choose Alien. We want to set the animation to its success animation whenever it passes a level. We're going to drag that up so that it's the second action in this event. When the player collides with the exit and has collected all the coins, it's going to put its hands in the air and it will be taken to whatever the layout is that next layout has defined that's stored in that global variable. Understanding how this next layout variable is going to be used is really important. Every single level should end with the player colliding with the exit sign and there being no coins left. It waits 3 seconds and then it looks at the next layout variable. And whatever the value is, it goes to it in that last action you see listed there. We're going to take a closer look at an example. We're going to go to the level 1 event sheet and I'm going to show you how the level 1 event sheet is going to set its next layout. At the top, there's a start of level 1 group. We're going to add an action to our on start of layout event. Go to System, and we're going to set the value of next layout. Where do we go after level 1? Well, we're going to go to our game over layout. If we had a second level, we would say level 2, but we don't. So here we are in level 1. In its event sheet, we set the value of next layout to game over. When the player is successful, the code in the start and end level event sheet runs. When it goes to next layout, it will go to whatever the value is, game over. Let's run this with debug to see how this works. Scroll down to take a look at our global variables. See how next layout is currently game over? Here I am at the end. I collected all the coins, and if I collide with exit, it should take me to whatever the value of next layout is. Game over. And there it is. It did it. You're going to set the next layout on all of your levels, and this code will just automatically work. If I click on it, it starts level 1 all over again. Now it's your turn. Return to the step-by-step project guide. Make sure you're in the You Win section. Together, we've created the Game Over layout and its event sheet. I want to see how well you can create a layout on your own. You're going to start with the step that says Create, Get Ready, Layout. And you're going to perform all the steps in between until you reach Update Project Properties. Make sure you double check the event sheet you make and that you lock the content layer, then come back to the video and we'll review it together. Okay, if you performed all the steps, you should have a Get Ready layout that looks like this. It should say Press Anything to Play. You had to create an author object type, a credits object type, and set their properties. You had to add those to the Almendra Bold family so they got the fancy looking font. Get Ready should have a Get Ready event sheet. Let's take a look at it. The Get Ready event sheet should have included the start and end level event sheet, and it should have one event group called Get Ready, events and triggers that occur on the Get Ready layout only. You're going to have two events. You're going to have an on start of layout event, which waits for a second, and then it sets the opacity of author and credits to make them just slightly visible, semi-transparent. And then you have another event, which is our classic OR block. Either the user presses the keyboard or clicks on the mouse, and that will take them to level 1 to begin playing the game. Make sure you double check your event sheet against the project guide. We're going to check a couple other things before we move on. Let's go to Get Ready and take a look at the layers. Make sure you have two, background and content, and that they're both locked. Let's take a look at the properties of the layout. Make sure the layout size is 1920 by 1080. Let's go ahead and run this. Waits a second, and then it shows the author and the credits, and if you click or press anything on the keyboard, it takes you to level 1. Great job. We need to update one of our model platformer project properties. Go to First Layout, and now that we have Get Ready, we're going to make that our first layout because that's where the game should start. Let's make sure we save our game.